Alright guys, just finishing my little bar here. And we are now, for those of you who are new to the channel, or welcome. But typically what I do is every 1,000 subscribers, I like to do a AMA that I leave on the channel. Usually my live streams I end up removing or deleting or anything like that. But today's live stream, we're going to be celebrating the 1,000 new subscribers that have come and joined the herd. So, if you're one of the new 1,000 that have joined, thank you very much. One of the things that I really had a hard time finding was answers to questions, mentors that could help guide me when I had a question. So that's kind of how the idea came about, which was this. And I do a lot of live streams when I can, when I'm studying and practicing, but I want to leave this up so that other people can come back and watch it. And I apologize if it sounds like I'm talking slower than normal, but I am making a conscious effort to remove the ums and the ahs and those filler words in my speech patterns, if that makes sense. I do hope I'll be making a 100K thank you video soon. We'll see, man. It's been a grind to get to 20K. It doesn't sound like that many, but here we are, almost 2 years later. It's been a mission. It's been a great opportunity to be able to have a YouTube channel. Or I think not necessarily a great opportunity, but I'm glad that I took the challenge of having a channel, and it has rewarded me tenfold with the amount of effort that I've gone. Toastmaster? Who's Toastmaster? One second, I'm going to share in the Facebook group, which if you guys are not part of the Facebook group, Code Tech and Caffeine, I highly suggest you go and join. Did I take the day off? No. My boss's boss said we could leave early because it was Memorial Day weekend. It was very nice of him to do that. So I got home. It's about 10 till 3 here. I got off at 1:30. Took a shower, did one or two things, and here we are. And I just noticed, I was actually planning on doing a special 20K video, but with how difficult it has been to get the things that I need for that, it'll probably get pushed back to 25K. Slowly but surely it will come out. Maybe 21K special video. I had a special video I wanted to put together for everybody. Did I hear about Istio? It's an open source project between Google, IBM, and Lyft. I did not, but I will definitely look it up. And if it's something that I think would be relevant, I would love to talk about it once I educate myself a little bit about it. I have a little notepad here. I'm currently on sort of a hiatus on making videos until we move into the into the new apartment, when I set up the new office and I set up my new toys and things like that. But a collaboration between Google, IBM, and Lyft sounds nice. Those are all companies that I would support. I happen to use Lyft over Uber for various reasons. Not that I haven't used Uber. I actually drove for Lyft when money was really tight before I was a developer. When I was still in school, and a little bit after, to make a few bucks. And I happen to like Lyft. Lyft as an organization is much better. Now, at the end of the day, Uber is more popular. I probably will end up abandoning Lyft. I think at some point in time, Lyft will either be bought out by Uber or something else. I don't really know. I don't think there's really space for the two markets. Got chocolate on my arm here, like some sort of child. So as I just mentioned, these 1,000 subscriber AMAs, Q&As, that's for the 1,000 of you who are new, thank you. It is 1,000 more towards the 100K dream, and towards the dream of perhaps maybe one day doing YouTube full time, which is kind of cool, right? Damn it, I said again. Which is a cool possibility down the road, one that I'm actively working towards. We've talked about how I'm building a course. I have a business idea or two I will be following up with shortly after that course. Hopefully the time and energy I put in the course will generate income to help fund the project that I want to do. But yeah. So what is everybody else working on? We can. Do you think you'll ever run out of things to produce content on? I do not. The reason for that, James, is I've changed my strategy a bit. Now, up until recently being the last 3 to... Thank you, Paul. Up until recently, the content I have been putting out... Excuse me. I have to grab my throat spray. I'm still sick, guys. 1 second. Where's my throat spray? Where is my throat spray? Shit, I think it's in the car. Ooh. I'm back, guys. So the question was, do you think you'll ever run out of content? And I'll say why I don't. Whew. So for the last 2 years, I've been improving on my web development skills. So much so that I got a job working at a software company in a less than technical role, not as a developer, but working there none the same. And for the last 9 months or so, 8 to 9 months, I've been working as a developer full time. Now, what does that mean? Well, up until this most recent 9 months, I've been doing things on Codecademy. I've been doing things on Free Code Camp, where I was working through basic tutorials and helping people whose skill level was below my own as I continue to improve my skill level. Since then, as I've run out of content pretty much on Free Code Camp and on Codecademy, I've done pretty much everything on those two websites. And the reason for that is those two websites are the largest when it comes to they are the largest when it comes to the coding, like interactive coding sites. There are some others. Uh-oh. It looks like my upload decides to take a shit right now. Sorry about that, guys. Let's see if I can close a few things to help out. But the reason why I don't think I'll ever run out of content is because I'm actually changing the traditional direction that my course has gone. Now that I'm working as a developer, I'm a much better developer than I was a year ago. And this will allow me to learn quicker, complete content quicker, as well as opens up a lot of different avenues of content to create. The most recent example are my my advice oriented, based off of my experiences sort of videos, which I've been calling Ask a Dev, but I'm probably in the future I'll be dropping that title and just be posting them as videos. I don't think an episodic format is the best way of going about it. And the reason why that new content is coming about right now and wasn't in the past is I have gained quite a bit of experience as a developer and am continuing to grow, and I'll be able to continue elaborate. And that's one of the things I want to separate my channel from other channels, is there's a lot of fluff out there. It would probably be the nicest way of putting it, where certain channels will just tell you what you want to hear and never had done it. I typically stay away from advice that I haven't already taken or I haven't already experienced, or something along that lines, where it's no longer advice. It's more of, let me tell you a story about what I did in a very relatable situation, and hopefully it will help you out down the road. So that in itself opens me up to pretty much an infinite amount of content. Now, will it be successful content? I don't know. Some of the videos do better than others. Also, now that my channel has grown to a certain size, it has allowed me to interview people, developers, who are looking for self-promotion or are, oh cool, you have 10,000 subs, let me go ahead and do something fun. 20,000 subs. And as I continue to grow, making those connections will be easier. And maybe at like 50,000, I could, if I'm lucky enough to get there, I can go to tech conferences and report on there. That would definitely be a dream of mine. One thing I could see myself doing is some sort of tech evangelist role, where I'm interviewing developers or showcasing technologies, and a very sort of very similar to my behind the code thing, interviews. Thank you, Rex Monster, for the congratulations and the plethora of emotes to go with them. But in terms of running out of content, I don't think so, because Free Code Camp is going to continue putting out content. Codecademy is going to one day continue putting out content. And the idea is that, and there's also other sites growing. So currently I'm working on some algorithm sites, which I plan on releasing content for. I'm also doing my own advice sort of videos I've talked about. And I'm also at the skill set wise, where now if I wanted to make an actual in-depth tutorial, I think I'd be able to, when it comes to being well enough prepared. I've stayed away from doing, learn JavaScript in 1 hour sort of videos, or in one video, or learn AngularJS in one video. I've stayed away from that because I've never wanted to really put out a piece of content that would mislead people in one direction. And I think at times maybe that's hurt my growth, but I've said it before, YouTube's kind of like a business in which what you want is repeat business and not a one-time thing. So if you've come across something that's really poor quality once or twice of mine, you're not going to watch any more videos, and you're probably not going to subscribe. But if you run across those same 2 or 3 videos where, hey, I've ran across this guy's Free Code Camp stuff, I'm going to go ahead and drop a subscribe here, and maybe I'll catch some of his future stuff as it continues to come out. I think you're more likely to watch future videos. It's very easy to not like somebody who gives a poor tutorial, but it's because it's not all about subscriber growth. It's about views and watch time. That's what's most important. So I need you to watch all the videos, is what I'm trying to say, and not one clickbaity one, right? Excuse me. Oh, man. My whole work's sick. I don't know if your guys' work is sick. But that's also why I've recently started working on a course. It's not only... I think I'm at the point now where I can create a course that can provide value for various entry-level sort of individuals. And that'll get more and more complex and larger as my own skill set continues to grow and continues to go from a junior to intermediate to senior to super senior role, right? And I may get there slower or faster than others. I'm leaning towards eventually faster. The idea being that I actually do come home and code every day, and I do go to meetups, and I do meet every day, 1 to 2 hours. And because of that, I have a 20-30% quicker, assuming all things are equal, which they aren't always, but I have a 20-30% more extra study time, or more extra study time. How's that for filler words? So, Sukram Ahmed, what do you think of PHP? I need to learn it for my education starting this autumn. Well, I use PHP at my work, and I use a framework called Cake PHP. And I think I'll tell you pretty much the same thing everybody tells me about PHP. Or everybody would say about PHP would be a better way of putting it. PHP is a bitch to learn. That is the truth of the matter. PHP is not the easiest thing to learn, and that's one of the reasons that the mean stack has become so popular and is being taught in boot camp, because you learn one stack front to back, database, whole shebang. It's all in JavaScript and various JavaScript frameworks. PHP is still widely used. Everyone's always talking about the death of PHP, but the problem with that is maybe newer developers don't use PHP as much, and I'm not saying they shouldn't. I personally dislike it because I think you can do a lot of the same stuff with shorter development time using something like MongoDB and Node and Express. But PHP typically is used with older applications as well as a lot of newer applications, only because if you're having senior developers who have been using PHP for 20 years create these new applications, they're typically being built in, PHP and MySQL. It's a good skill to have. It will open a lot of doors for you regardless, because there are a lot of younger junior developers like myself who are either very poor at PHP or don't know PHP at all. Moving forward, this is one of the skills that I do very little PHP at work, but I do mess with it. And the issue that I'm having as a developer is because I don't have enough of a background in PHP, the issue that I've been having is I get where the framework starts and where the PHP begins a little bit confused. So what I need to do is I need to go and study PHP alone, do my own projects, so that I can recognize those differences. But PHP is a great skill to have on your resume. Personally, if I was doing a personal project of sorts, I would just be working in the pure mean stack. But that's a newer stack, less code to maintain, and the senior developers are still, 10, 20 years older, so they're going to be using a little bit older technologies when they architect these newer projects, typically. Not always, but typically. If you're trying to learn PHP, there's lots of great resources out there, such as PHP Academy or Code Course on YouTube. He does PHP only. Do you have a personal favorite coding style? What do you mean? Rex Monster. Elaborate, if you would. Coding style. Like I code with one hand, or I'm not quite sure. Favorite coding style. Do you have a personal favorite coding style, like your working environment when you code? I think you're talking about a development process more than anything else. If I understand the question correctly. Oh, do I have particular setting I need? I typically just want access to a senior developer when I have questions, and I want to be left the fuck alone. I want to be left alone. The reason for that is I throw my headphones on. If you guys have ever seen me do any coding, I usually have music on the background. I'll have some headphones on, and I'll just be hacking away. That is my environment. That is how I roll. Not everyone's the same. Some people can't handle the music. And sometimes if it's a complicated issue, I do have to take the headphones off and focus for a second. But I kind of just like to zone in, not be bothered. And if I have questions, I will ask them. Russ Wilkie says, do you feel like PHP will eventually be deprecated in favor of other languages, APIs, or frameworks? If so, do you think MongoDB, Express, and Node.js will be a good replacement? I think MongoDB, Express, and Node.js will be a good replacement. I think considering that the bulk of boot camps are teaching that stack, will continue to go in that direction. Very few places are there to learn PHP. Can you code a neat algorithm in Python, please? Would be awesome. What do you mean by neat? Afro Mike, welcome. And I am very excited for Game of Thrones Season 7. I have watched the trailer, as well as the various teasers. I don't watch a lot of TV, guys. I don't have a lot of time. I probably watch maybe one show every 3 days of some sort on Netflix. I do watch anime, though. So that kind of counts. And I have 3 half-an-hour seasons that I am watching right now. My Hero Academia, Attack on Titan Season 2, My Hero Academia Season 2 as well, and then Dragon Ball Super are the 3 that I watch every week. Which is cool because today's Friday, and 2 of them come out on Saturday and 1 on Sunday, so I'm very excited to... unless they do some fucked up... I don't think in Japan they have Memorial Day. I think that's an American holiday, so they won't do anything. Usually if it's a holiday weekend, they will stop with that. Dragon Ball Super has good moments and bad moments. That is the truth. Coding God, is that something new, or is it like the Pizza Poker Guy 87? Coding God is just something fun I've been rolling with. It's also going to be part of a couple skits I eventually will come out with. We have a lot of new content coming out for the channel. That I'm excited to make. One is the algorithms that I'll be solving, which will also be part of my course. The others is I am developing a arc about essentially a awkward developer who I'll be playing. It'll be Persona. His name is Christopher, which is my middle name as well. But it's right now I'm working out a 5-character arc, and based off of how well or how poorly it's received, I will continue on. If you're a fan of Boogie, I've said this a couple times, it's going to be emulate his Francis character, but as a developer. I'm very excited about it. I've only done. I'm a little scared about it as well. The reason being, I did one skit where I titled the video. And this wasn't with the character, but it was sort of a skit. I titled the video "How to Solve All Your Bugs in 60 Seconds," and it's my most disliked video of the year. But that was it. Let's see. Neuroevolution of Augmenting Technologies. Is that a anime? I haven't seen that one. How do I like the sports festival arc so far? Russ, I am okay with it. The show itself is so good that I don't think they could do anything wrong at this point. Now, season 1 had a lot more hype. I'll say this. But we've seen the entire season 1. I don't remember how episodes. I think it was around 20. But there was a lot building up into season 1 of My Hero Academia. And it had a great payoff. And there's much more drama. I think with the current season, we're kind of building up to some sort of drama. I don't know yet, though. It feels a little bit more milder and mellow, but it's not a bad season by any way. Didn't I say yesterday I need a break? I did, and I am taking a break from Tutoring in April, and I do make commitments though. The current commitment I made was every 20,000 subscribers, I will go and do these Q&As and answer questions, and I never said I was going to stop completely. We're putting on hold me tutoring April so that she can catch up and I can continue doing the things I need to do. And then once we relocate in about a week, we will, probably a week after that, get started. Between the skits and my course and everything, it's a little bit too much for me to do that right now. Nick Van Den Berg says, I've had an internship today for education for your bachelor's of computer science, which is mainly online learning and online security. How important do you think these things will be? I think online security is great. There's nothing wrong with that. And online learning is what every developer has to do at the end of the day. So they're all going to be good. How important will these things be for the developer community? Well, online learning, as in terms of you teaching yourself, Stack Overflow did the survey where 90+% of developers said they were self-taught. And they're teaching themselves through online resources. So it'll be a good thing for you to have. And security is always great as well. I don't know too much about online security. Something I would like to get better too. 20,000 is very good number for an IT niche. Yeah, I would like to get more than that. Especially, I feel... This is the thing about software channels. And I could be incorrect. I feel that they are going to continue to grow as software sort of dominates the jobs that are out there. And if you watch Engineer Truth's most recent video about what engineering degrees to get, you had like all mechanical, electrical, like biochemical, and a couple other engineers that were gaining like 1,000 jobs a year, and then you had software engineering, which is 150,000. I expect it to continue to grow, and hopefully I will get to that 100K and be able to do this full time, or at least do it part time. I kind of already do it part-time, but do it part-time and get paid like it's part-time. A lot of work goes into all this craziness. Who is your favorite character in Dragon Ball Super? Let's see. It depends, man, because Dragon Ball Super is this goes back to our earliest statement about Dragon Ball Super having good moments and bad moments in the anime. I feel like certain characters are way cooler and way more entertaining than they are now. One great example of this would be Beerus. I think Beerus was really cool when in the beginning of the arc when he was playing around with Goku, trying to get him to become a Super Saiyan God. That was probably the coolest stuff for me. Was when you just like bitch slapping Goku around and was super serious. Now they've kind of made him more into a cartoony character. But if I had to choose one character throughout the arc, I would say it's always been Vegeta, man. Vegeta needs his time. Firespark, neural evolving of augmenting topologies. It's kind of neural networks evolving from scratch. I think that's a little bit beyond my skill set in Python. I don't know that I can help you. Started from the bottom, now we here. That's right. For those of you who don't know, everybody starts at 0 subscribers. That's one of the funny things Matt and I joke about. Is Matt in the past has let a couple troll comments get to him about his parents buying his condo and basically putting him through school and doing all this crazy shit. And the one thing that we've always joked about is I bet they got you your YouTube channel too, right? Because you can't start anywhere but 0 on your YouTube channel. I would like to have that silver play button. I should just like when I move, I should just like Photoshop one on the green screen in the background saying coming soon, something like that. That'd be kind of cool. Although at the rate that I'm growing, which is by about 1,300 to 1,500 subscribers, I think it would take me 5 more years, which would be depressing. But I'm doing a couple things to help grow that, I think. I think these skits have the chance of a lot of people watching them. We got some good stuff, man. Gino Fernandez Jr. says, do you think the fast pace of change in the software industry is burning out people and causing them to quit before a reasonable retirement date? I think what you'll see a lot of times is that there comes a point where as a developer you have to decide if you want to go into management or in a different field or in a different part of the software industry. A couple examples I could give you is I could probably very easily transition into a project manager role or a tech evangelist role. And the reason for that is I have programming experience once as a developer, or for one as a developer, and 2 I have video editing. I'm very comfortable talking, and I believe my communication skills are probably normal or above normal when it comes to developers. I can talk the language and I can walk the walk, and I'm passionate about it. So if there ever came a time where I did feel I was getting burnt out, I think that would be the direction I would go into. And I think that's what happens with a lot of developers is perhaps it becomes too much of a job, which is fair, right? Like I said, I come home every day and I code for 2-3 hours, on the weekend more. I could understand how somebody may not want to do that anymore. It's a job where it takes constant learning, at work and not at work, and instead of having a more technical skill, perhaps you'd have an easier time instead of learning new technical skills, working with people who are working with those technical skills, and you can still make just as much money. So when the time comes, if that happens, I think that would be what I would do, and I can understand how people could burn out. I really can, because I've burnt myself out doing too much in a weekend after being hired as a developer, because I never worked as a developer. I only done 60 hours on my own stuff, right? And then I did 45 there, and I did 15, 20 on the weekends here, and then before I knew it, when I went in on Monday, I got burned out. So it's definitely possible. Why would you want to do YouTube if you have a stable programming job? Well, I don't plan on quitting my job or anything. It would only be if YouTube is fairly stable as well. You can make quite a bit of money on YouTube, and it's a different lifestyle. You do give up things when you work for a company. One is you work on their schedule, right? You go into the office, so you have to commute. You have a limited amount of sick days, a limited amount of PTO days, you have a limited amount of benefits. If you work for yourself, that's what I equate YouTube to. If you work for yourself, you could focus entirely on something that has allowed you to work remotely, travel with your job if you wanted. It's just as stable if you invest your money properly and if you diversify your assets. Suka says, I have some genius friends that have been coding since they were 7 and have built game engines with millions of lines of code using C++. How do you compete with someone like that starting at 20? I didn't start coding until I was about 24, 25. You just start, man. Just like YouTube, where you start with 0 subscribers, you also start with 0 knowledge, like everybody else. Maybe they got a head start on you. Software is not going anywhere. Just start. Don't worry about things like that. Just power forward. I should make an algorithm for my YouTube growth. What's my hourly rate? I charge $75 an hour as a freelancer. At my current job, I'm salaried, but I believe if they broke it down, it'd be somewhere around 34. Favorite language? I love JavaScript because it's always changing, because new libraries are improving upon the ones that are there and taking previous concepts, creating a new one, and doing bigger, better, and badder things. Why do people major in engineering if it's not software/computer engineering? Mainly because they don't know any better, I would say. Because the world in the last 20 years has dramatically changed. And the people who are advising you are people like your parents and people who don't quite understand the world as it is now. They don't see these things. They don't fully understand it, and they want to tell you what worked for them 20 years ago. And there's nothing wrong with an engineering degree, but it's not as in demand as a software engineering. That's just a fact due to the number of jobs there. And there's a lot of people who maybe it's not for them as well. I don't tell anyone to be a developer just for the job. You really have to enjoy it. And once it becomes a job, like once it really becomes a full-time sort of, I just do this for a paycheck, that's when you need to make those choices where I need to go into project management or I need to go into a less technical role and start enjoying your job, because the worst thing you can do is not enjoy your job. But I think a lot of it is just they're getting bad advice from people. That's what I think it is. What do you think? Is IT education necessary to become a developer? I want to be a front-end developer and have a degree in economics, and I realize this is not for me. Well, one thing I could advise you on doing with a degree in economics is data analytics. A lot of data analysis are for guys who have mathematics degrees, financial degrees, economics degrees. So that may be a route you want to look down in going into a data analytics role. Now, in terms of front-end developer, I don't have a degree. I'm a full-stack developer. I make okay money, and opportunities are opening up left and right to continue my career path. Now, I've worked very hard to get here, and I've wasted a lot of time and money in school before I dropped out, but I think you'll just do fine if you continue working every day. And that's really it. You need to work every day. Even once you get there, it's only step 1. Next, you gotta figure out what step 2 is. So I don't know if you guys believe me when I tell you I do work every day. That could be me doing algorithms. That could be me working on the projects that you guys see on the channel. That could be me working on my course. That could be me doing this AMA. That could be me going to a meetup, hackathon. It all just depends, guys. But the thing is, you need to work every day, especially if you're trying to jump into a technical career field, because if you can display those skills. I have a friend right now who has an English degree. Was it English? I forget. It wasn't English, but it was some sort of liberal arts degree. She has been working for about a year and a half doing HTML and CSS at a web design shop. Before then, she worked towards getting a job for about 6 months, and now has a 6-figure salary working in Silicon Valley. It is one of those things, guys, where can you teach yourself for 2 years? A lot of people can't. A lot of people can't hold themselves to that standard of I need to teach myself 2 years, a year, 6 months, whatever it takes. Hell, it could take 4 years. The point is can you every day come home from work, spend 2 to 4 hours, on the weekend spend 6 to 12 teaching yourself this stuff, building projects in this, building a portfolio site, coming to things like this and getting your questions answered? Can you do that? Can you hold yourself to that? Economics degree? No economics degree. It's kind of up to you. Do you have that mentality to carry on, to continue your learning process without somebody holding your hand? If you can do it, man. Do I use Python? I haven't in a long time. I plan on reworking with Python. I just need to figure out what I want to build with it first. You enjoy yourself there, Nick. Excuse me, guys. Oh my god, he scared me, Tito. Hey, buddy. Come on. You come hang out with me. You're gonna come hang out with your daddy. Daddy, turn this off for you. You don't like it. Alright, buddy. Ugh. Where you going? You gonna lay down? You want to say hi? Say hi. This is Tito. He also goes by Rengar. Or HTML. Or CSS, because he's a pretty cat of the house. You're welcome for the free code camp explanation. And I, one of the things I'll actually do as part of my course is, I think it's been over a year to a year and a half to 2 years. It's been a while since I have done the algorithms on Free Code Camp. I'm going to redo them and see if I can solve them in a better fashion without watching my old videos. And I'm going to make it part of the course. There's already going to be an algorithm section. I have 25 or 30 algorithms already. I plan to continue to expand that so that hopefully it will help you guys out there, because I think algorithms are one of the best ways that you can sort of expand your brain to think like a developer. But it's always kind of hard to get there. What are you doing, Stinker? What's the matter? What do you think your biggest challenge is at growing at a faster rate, your subs at a faster rate? I think it could be perhaps my content, for one. I don't put a lot of time into editing. I just don't have the time to do it. I've kind of attached a mass marketing approach to YouTube. I'd rather put out a lot of videos than a one sort of highly edited video. Now, hey, I need more cats. That's it. 3's not enough. I think there is a bit of a niche as well. Now, I can't fully claim this because you have guys like, I think you have guys like Traversity Media who are growing by 10,000 subs a month. You have guys like Derek Bonas who are growing by that amount. You have gentlemen like I'm forgetting his name right now. The Coding Rainbow guy, who's been exploding. These are all guys that are doing great, doing awesome. So I can't fully say that it's because I'm in a niche, because they are doing something right. They are doing something correct. You have guys like Simple Programmer as well, who's part of the inspiration of doing my more advice-oriented software videos. John has since gone on to do those sorts of videos about a ton of topics. He has run out of software topics to talk about at the end of the day because he puts out about 3 or 4 videos a day. But it's something that I am reflecting upon greatly, because I do have a passion for YouTube, and I want it to continue to grow to something where I can support myself off of it, which is one reason I'm making the course as well. But it's something that I've been thinking about. Stefan MJ says, "Did you think about quitting when you taught yourself how to code?" No, not once. My girlfriend at the time. So I've talked about this before, about how poor April and I were, while I was in school, and we took her sister in and all this sort of stuff. Now, we ended up breaking up shortly after I made this decision. But I got a job at Education Dynamics, where I was a technology trainer, and that was when I dropped out of school. I told myself that I was going to teach myself how to be a web developer and continue getting better at code and do all these sorts of things. And once I got a job that paid me $20 or more an hour, I figured I could survive off of that. I would then, if it wasn't a developer job, I would go in, and I mind you, I had plenty of people who told me I was asking for too much money and that I wasn't good enough, and I could go on and on. I've done a video about one of them, about knowing your worth as a developer and things like that. So, but anyhow, I digress. There was one conversation before April and I broke up for about a 3 to 4 month period where I had accepted the job. This is like before the day before I was supposed to start work at my new job at a software company, being a technology trainer. And she sat down with me and she said, "How long until you go back to school?" I said, "Well, I will consider it once I get a developer job." She said, "I understand that, but what if that doesn't happen?" What do you mean? Well, what if you don't get a job? It's in X amount of days. What if you don't get a job in a year? Well, I'll get it in a year and 1 month. I'll get it in a year and 2 months, year and 3 months. I'm going to work every day until I get that fucking job. I've already executed my game plan up to this point. A lot of people don't know that I had a full game plan to get to where I am, and this is something I encourage people to in their own life, regardless of where you want to go. Develop your own game plan and be flexible in it. But don't give up on it. There's a difference between being flexible and, well, this happened, and I didn't go directly to here and now it's all failed. No, maybe you did here and then you went to here. But I told her at that moment, and I'll talk about my game plan in a second, but I told her in that conversation there is no, it's not going to happen. It will happen because I am working towards it and I will get there eventually. I don't know when. In my heart to heart, I wanted to do it within 1 year. I did it in 9 months. I accepted. I pushed myself every day. Part of the reason, day one when I uploaded videos, let's talk about the game plan. But that was not once did I ever think about giving up. And not once did I stop working towards it. I didn't take a week off or a month off. Maybe once I took a day off because I was sick. Like, that was it. I worked myself to the bone sometimes, where you've heard April a couple times tell me that he works too much. And that could be right. But I'd rather work too much than not enough. Now, that doesn't mean I'm the best developer ever, because I'm not. It does mean I'm a developer, and I will always be a developer and continue moving forward to be a better developer. Now, let's talk about my plan and why you should have a plan as well. Sorry guys, I'm a little caught up here. I'm not like getting emotional, I'm just sick and I gotta cough up some phlegm. So, a lot of people don't know that I started my channel as a way of getting better at software and as a way of helping me get a developer job. That was how my channel started. I put up my very first Ruby tutorial, and my thought process was I wanted to be a better developer. I didn't even really think about what direction to go into, but I started doing my tutorials. I said, okay, this is the game plan. Step 1, you need to study every day. How can I do that? I don't really know. All the studying I've done has been in school with projects and things like that, but I didn't have a clear understanding of where to move forward and what to do. So I started with Codecademy. I continued to do as much Codecademy as I could until I was starting to realize I'm running out of content. At that point, I got an internship. It was start doing it on the YouTube channel. If you're lucky, you'll make some money from YouTube. But at the end of the day, it killed 2 birds with 1 stone for me, maybe 3. It was 1, I have a video portfolio item. So I have a portfolio item, as close of a portfolio item as I can get, and it makes me a unique candidate. And objective number 2, maybe I get better at coding, or I'll get better at coding from it because I'm coding more. I'm coding new things. I'm coding in various languages. I'm trying to build that programming mindset that regardless of the language, I can break down a problem in pseudocode in my brain and continue on. Optional objective 3, maybe I make some money down the road. But if you start YouTube, don't expect to make money in the short term at least. From there, I got an internship. This was all part of the plan. I got an internship. I'm still in school at this point. My internship didn't meet my requirement of $20 an hour in a software-related role. Now, I got an internship. It was about 3 months, and they hired me as a freelancer for $20 an hour, but it wasn't consistent enough, and it only lasted about 3 or 6 months after that. I've been in school this whole time. I'm getting the experience. I'm building up my resume to make the jump when the time is right, and continuing on. So, at this point, we're like 9 months later. I accept a role that meets my threshold. I'm working at a software company that has like 20, 30 developers. And that is when I make the decision to drop out of school. There's a lot of reasons why I did it. I've talked about that numerous times. But the next step was exactly, it's just like, start a YouTube channel, get an internship, freelance as much as you can, get a job, drop out of school, work full-time at this job that is in the field that you're working with. From there, go into a full-stack developer role or a front-end developer role. And here we are, 2 years later, plan executed to a T. And now you're like, well, your plan's done. What's next? There's always more to the plan. And I hope when you're making your plan, every time you get closer to one step, you should already be thinking, when that step is within your grasp, you should already have 2 or 3 steps above that. You say, well, all right, Dylan, what are your steps? Well, I'm starting a course that I plan on selling, that I'm working towards. I'm also working on YouTube more. I just invested about $2,000 into my YouTube channel and my office for all of this. From there, I plan on doing the course, and I have a coding-related business I'm going to be starting as well. I've also have a lot of new things coming to the YouTube channel to help promote it, in terms of content, in terms of giveaways, all these sorts of things. And when I accomplish the goal on YouTube, what's next? We'll find out. We're nowhere near there, but that is enough to keep me busy for a year. Anyhow, the point of that was have a plan. The plan that you don't plan on quitting. And I never thought about quitting. And I knew I would get to where I wanted to go as long as I put 110% at it. And you can too. You just have to do it. A lot of people ask questions and they worry. And I'm not saying don't worry and take all the risks in the world. I am saying make educated risks. Do you honestly think if you taught yourself how to code for 2 years and you had a game plan where you're like, I'm going to work my way up, I'm going to freelance, I'm going to do the internship I got, by the way, filled out a ton of apps, posted my resume, was $12 an hour, and it was a 2-hour drive each way. And I got that internship over someone with a CS degree because the CS degree guy said, no, I don't want to come at 6 a.m. He lived around the corner also, by the way. He lived in the same city. I don't want to come in for the interview tomorrow because I'd rather do it later because I want my sleep. So the guy set it up at noon to a custom for that guy. But that put a bad taste in my future employer's mouth, as it should. But I, on the other hand, 2 hours away, showed up at 6 a.m. as requested, which meant I left at 3:30 a.m. and I showed up a little bit tired. He asked me where I came from. I said it's about, he's like, it says here you're in Long Beach, is that correct? I said yes. He said that's a long drive. I said yes, but I wanted this job. So here I am. And he gave me the job that instant. He says, it looks like I have to call this other guy who didn't want to come in later, who's more qualified, but didn't want it as much. I hope this is going to be start something great. I said, yes, it is. Thank you. And then I continued to work for him for about 3 months internship, hired on for about 6 months or so. But my point being is that I had a plan. I worked towards it every day for 2 years. For less than that. I worked towards it for about a year and a half to get to where I could get 8 months ago when I got hired here. And it sucked. There were some days I didn't want to do it. But I did it if I didn't want to. Did I drive that far often? It's been a while since I've done that internship, but I believe it was 4 days a week. I believe it was 4 days a week. It might have started at 3 and then it up. Some weeks were 5. I know I worked Monday through Friday on some of those. But yeah, so pretty much full time there for that internship. Yeah, it's been a journey, man. That's why I say it's going to be, especially for those of you who are looking to get a better life, want to be happier, you enjoy programming, maybe as in earlier the subscriber said, I don't enjoy economics. How do I do this? Can I do this? Yeah, man. Hello to our friends in the Philippines. I hope you are doing all right, and with the martial law going on some of the islands over there. But yeah, guys, so when you have a plan, think about it. And it's okay to set realistic standards for yourself. I gave myself 1 year from when I dropped out, started that job, to go into a developer position. Now, because of the role I was in, I didn't fully enjoy it after about 6 months. And that was when I had a heart-to-heart with my boss, and I explained, like, hey, I want to be a front-end developer. I talked to him, and I said, I don't enjoy doing this. This isn't what I want to do. What can we do? And nothing really happened with it. He did do something. It wasn't much. It wasn't enough, I should say. And unfortunately, not unfortunately, but I felt it was needed, because I never want to be in a situation where I don't like my job. That's the thing. It's the second I start not liking my job, I'm out. Because as an individual, I should always love my job. I'm not going to be one of the 70% that I'm not saying it has to be the God's gift to this earth, but I should not hate my job in the fashion that most people do. It means I need to be well compensated. It means I need to be stimulated. It means I need to have good people around me. And I have all that. I'm very happy about that. Now, at my old work, I had all that, except I wasn't stimulated. The tasks I were doing was not what I wanted to be doing. I like the people I work with. Even though my old boss was didn't have the best people skills, I enjoyed his company for the most part, even though he made me a little nervous. But unfortunately, it wasn't the role that I wanted. Anyhow, man. Somebody asked another question. Start a Discord server where your members can chat and talk and pair program. I happen to have one of those. Does web development have a bright future? I think web development has the brightest future, to be honest with you, especially with now that non-native development in mobile apps is happening. So it's taking away mobile application jobs as well. Let me see. I think I got something in here. How do I invite people? Is there a way? I do have a Discord Code Tech and Caffeine chat room. Is there a way to add people or to create a list? Sorry, I'm new to Discord, but this was something I wanted to do. If you guys want to join the if you want to join the Discord channel that I'll be promoting in future videos, you want to do it now, that's the link for you to join. It's the Code Tech and Caffeine Discord channel. I have it up. Nobody's in it but me. But I will be promoting it in future videos. It was something I was going to launch when I moved forward with the new videos and stuff like that. But there's the link for those of you who asked. What did they have me doing on my internship? A little bit of HTML, a little bit of CSS, and WordPress primarily. But that was what I was doing at my internship. Just post it on the Facebook page? I will, but I also will throw it up through a link or something like that so that people can have access to it. I'll throw it up on here. I'll throw it up right now for you guys. I did some SEO stuff as well. What do I think about online boot camps? I think that you should not do an online boot camp most of the time. I think in-person boot camps are the best. I think one of the reasons I'm happy to promote Dev Mountain is because they, one of the great things about it was they have you live with your other students and things like that are part of the program. Proteus, welcome, welcome. Fluffy Yaklit, welcome. Hi to Brazil. So if you guys are members of the Code Tech and Caffeine group, I just posted the Discord channel in there right now. If you're not, good day, Jordan from Canada. If you're not, that's the link for it as well. I believe we officially have 3 members. Pretty exciting stuff. Now, I appreciate again everybody for being here. Are there any cybersecurity? I don't know enough about cybersecurity, but I would imagine that just like most software fields, it's a good one to get into. Like everything's pretty much good in software, but I couldn't 100% tell you. Did you work on creating websites? I worked on creating WordPress sites and customizing them. I will definitely include the links to the description. The problem with this is Restream is deleting my links or my about section. You will need to buy the cat back for $4.99.99, Rigel, if you would like one of my cats. If you donate now, I will put him in that box over there and ship him first class. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's a Q&A. We're talking about anything software, man. Anything I can help out with. Although, what mouse do I use? I use a $10 mouse that's wireless. Although I've been thinking about upgrading in the near future. All right, guys. It seems like we're running out of questions. Have I ever heard of a game called RuneScape? I have. I haven't played it though. I'll leave you with this. I hope you guys are creating a plan to get to where you want to go and not assuming that it's just going to happen. And I hope that every day you work one step closer to be closer to that plan, whether it's to be a full stack developer or anything else. But work towards it daily. Again, thank you to the 1,000 new subscribers we have who have decided to subscribe, man. That's pretty cool. I hope that you decide to stay and watch the videos. And to the other 19,000 of you who have been supporting for however long you've been supporting, thank you. If you want to join the Facebook group, I'll put a link in the description. I've also thrown it up in chat. But if you want to support me on Patreon, that's dope also. Patreon.com/codingtutorials360. I hope you guys are working towards making your dreams come true. And if you're not in your ideal situation, whether that be work, relationship, or anything else, I hope that you're working to get out of it. There's so many people, 70%, we've said this a million times, that there's so many people who aren't doing what they love to do. And we've all been there. And it sucks. And it's hard to get to where you want to go. You may not get there when you want to, but you will eventually. So create your plan, guys, and work towards getting there. I'll see you guys next time for the 21,000 subscriber special. We'll do another one of these. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.